Yes, assisted living facilities are regulated, but the level and type of regulation can vary by state and local government. In the United States, assisted living is primarily regulated at the state level, and each state has its own set of standards and licensing requirements for these facilities. However, there are common areas of regulation across most states that ensure the safety, well-being, and the quality of care for the residents. There are 6 big areas where assisted livings are regulated. So let's dive in and discuss each one. First, these homes are regulated in the area of licensing and certification. The physical home or facility requires a license, and this is based on safety, fire and building codes, care standards, as well as documentation. Some states have additional certification processes, especially for specialized care, like if you're going to have a memory care house or a home that allows residents who are dealing with dementia. Licenses usually need to be renewed regularly, every year or every few years, and facilities, they may undergo inspections to ensure that they're still meeting those regulatory standards. Next is health and safety standards. This includes meeting the standards for cleanliness and hygiene, including safe food handling and proper waste disposal, having fire exits and smoke detectors and fire extinguishers, as well as ensuring accessibility for seniors with mobile impairments. You don't have to be ADA compliant in residential assisted living, but you do want to be as close to that as possible. Assisted livings are required to have emergency plans in place for natural disasters, power outages, and medical emergencies like evacuation plans and backup generators. If you're getting into this industry, make sure you check out this video right here where I share the 3 smartest options to participate in RAL. The next area of regulation is in regards to staffing and training. Each state has their own rules and regs, so make sure you understand your area's rules and regs, but staff at an assisted living facility, it's going to include caregivers, nurses, managers, and it's always going to need to meet the certain training and certification requirements for your area. These qualifications may include certifications in first aid, CPR, medication management, and some states also require ongoing training in areas like resident care, dementia, and elder abuse prevention. There may be regulations governing the number of staff required based on the number of residents and the level of care needed. For example, facilities providing higher levels of care for residents with dementia, they may need to maintain lower staff to resident ratios to ensure adequate care. I wish that rule was implemented more often because it's one of the big ones that get broken by almost all large assisted living facilities. They'll understaff just to make a quick buck, and it is so wrong. RALs are much more highly staffed and the ratios are so much better. So if you're kind of debating big bucks or RAL, I'm going to tell you to go RAL all day, baby. Keep in mind, many states require criminal background checks for staff members to ensure the safety of the residents, and this includes checking for history of abuse, neglect, and any other criminal behavior. The 4th area of regulation is around the quality of care and systems. Assisted living facilities, they must meet certain standards for providing personal care services, including help with ADLs like bathing, dressing, eating, grooming, all those different things. Facilities are required to have systems in place to manage residents' medications, including storing and administering medications safely. Depending on the state, your staff may need to be trained to administer those meds, or licensed healthcare professionals like nurses may need to be involved. Assisted living facilities must also provide, arrange, and facilitate access to necessary healthcare services. This could include regular health monitoring, visiting a healthcare professional, and assisting with medical appointments. Next is the residents' rights and protections. As an assisted living owner, you'll need to create a resident bill of rights. This outlines the rights of the residents living in your assisted living. These rights often include the right to dignity, the right to privacy, choice, participation in care planning, and the right to file complaints. They must be posted for all to see and explained to the family and resident upon move-in. Last but not least is regulations over inspection and oversight. Most states require regular inspections of assisted living facilities to ensure compliance with the regulations. These inspections can be scheduled or unannounced, and they may involve reviewing the facility's operations, records, staff qualifications, resident care practices. All of these different things are going to be reviewed. Residents and families can also file complaints with the state or local agencies if they believe a facility is not meeting regulatory standards. In many cases, these complaints are investigated, and the facilities, they may be required to have corrective action if the violations are found. If a facility fails to comply with state regulations, it can face penalties, including fines, probation, and suspension of its license, or in extreme cases, even closure of the facility. Assisted living facilities are indeed regulated, but the specific regulations can vary depending on the state or locality. They are generally required to meet health and safety standards, provide appropriate levels of care, and ensure staffing qualifications to protect the right of the residents. If you are considering an assisted living facility, it's a good idea to check your facility's licensing status and to ask about inspections and compliance with state regulations to ensure safe and high-quality environments for residents. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like and make sure to subscribe so you can keep watching more. I'll see you on the next one.